students, welcome back to my YouTube channel Chemistry and Biology Concepts. HSTR 2022 Biology Class 5, the chapter The Living World. In this chapter, we have discussed about all the hierarchy of kingdom of classification. In that kingdom of classification, the last and the final concept we are having is a kingdom Animalia or kingdom Metazoa. So today we will discuss about the kingdom Animalia or Metazoa. Kingdom Animalia or Metazoa is a eukaryotic, nothing but having a true nucleus. Heterotrophic, nothing but depends on other for food. Multicellular, having more than one cell. Lack of cell wall. Here in the animal cell what happens? The cell wall will be absent and it digests their food, stores and digests the food and stores reserve food as a glycogen or fat. In plants what it will happens means it stored food material will be in the form of starch, but in the animals or metazoans the stored food material will be in the form of glycogen or fat. Second point, exhibits the locomotion. Locomotion nothing but movement. The animals can move from one place to another place. Sexual reproduction by copulation of female and a male followed by embryological development. Next, higher forms, nothing but in the human beings, shows a sensory and neuromotor mechanism. Sensory and the neuromotor mechanism you can observe in the humans. The needs for classification become important to assign the system position to the newly described species of the classification. So, in this class, we have to discuss about the basis of classification of that kingdom Animalia or Metazoa. Before going to the classifications, we have to learn about the levels of organizations. Levels of organization means animals are multicellular, but they includes various levels of organization. Those organizations we call it as a cellular grade organization, tissue grade organization and organ grade organization. Here, cellular grade of organization example is PORIFERA. These cellular grade organization means multicellular with loosely aggregation of cells with no tissue formation. Here group of cells will be there, but there is no tissue will be going to be formed here. This type of aggregation we call it as a cellular grade of organization. Tissue grade means example is coelenterate. All cells group together to form a unit called tissue and these tissues perform similar function. Here what happens, all the animal cells will going to be grouped together and forms a tissue. This kind of organization we call it as tissue grade of organization. Organ grade of organization means example from Platyhelminthes to chordates. Here when two or more tissues work together for a specific function. Here you can observe the picture properly. Here one animal cell they have given. After that group of these animal cells group together and performs a particular function forms a tissue. Here like these one kind of a tissue will be there here. Like these only groups of tissues group together and performs a particular function and forms an organ. Then group of organs combine to form organ system and the complete organ system combines together and forms a one organisms. So this is about the levels of organization in the animals. So coming to the symmetry of a symmetry and body wall. Here symmetry, how the animal's body symmetry will be there, that you have to learn here. Symmetry means any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. Symmetry means in any planes passes through the center. That means if you are cutting one organism in the middle of that central axis, it divides them into equal halves. That we call it as a symmetry. In that two types of symmetry will be there, radial symmetry and the bilateral symmetry. Radial symmetry means when a section passes through the central axis of the body vertically in any direction, divides the organism into two equal halves. So what happens here, in vertically the center of the axis you are going to cut organism, it forms a two equal halves you are going to get. Bilateral symmetry means the body are arranged along the main axis and they can be divided into left identical and right identical halves in only one plane vertically. Bilaterally means in any plane. any vertically at any direction you can cut. But in the bilateral symmetry, what happens, at one plane you have to cut vertically, you are going to get two identical equal halves. That is about the bilateral symmetry. Next, diploblastic organization. Diploblastic organization and triploblastic organization also you have to learn. Here, diploblastic organization means the body wall consisting of two layers of cells, outer ectoderm and the inner endoderm. In between these layers lies a non-cellular gelatinous matrix called mesogloia. Understanding? So here the group of cells which forms a outer layer of a organization, we call it as a ectoderm, and inner one endoderm. Here triploblastic means the body is derived from three primary germ layers, outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and the inner endoderm. This is about the triploblastic organization. Coming to the classification of kingdom Animalia. So, kingdom Animalia is classified into two types, chordates and the non-chordates, depending upon the presence of notochord, nothing but a dorsal tubular nerve cord that will be present on the organisms, that we call it as a chordates. If it is absent, then we call it as a non-chordates. Chordates are characterized by the presence of notochord, as I said before, a dorsal nerve cord and paired pharyngeal gill slits will be present in the animals. Phylum Chordate is divided into four subphyla. Here, the phylum Chordates are divided into four subphyla. Those we call it as Urochordates or Tunicata, Cephalochordates and vertebrates and invertebrates. There are mainly four subphylums you are going to observe here in the kingdom Animalia. Subphyla, Urochordates and Cephalochordates. Here, Urochordates and are tunicata or cephalochordates. These two are often referred as a protochordates, persisting notochord throughout their lifespan. Nothing but these two combines together, cephalochordates and urochordates or tunicata combines together and forms a prochordates. These protochordates, what happens in the protochordates? The notochords will be present throughout their lifespan. Next, another two types of subphyla are vertebrates and invertebrates. Here, vertebrates means they have backbone, an internal skeletal endoskeleton, nothing but endoskeleton, and muscles will be present in the vertebrates. The invertebrates, what happens? The animals does not possess a backbone or vertebral column. So, coming to the classification of vertebrates. Here, the vertebrates are classified into five major types. I mean nothing but the classes. So here the member of subphyla vertebrata possess notochord during embryonic period. During the embryonic period, the vertebrates having a notochord. Then the notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or bony vertebral column. Nothing but the backbone of the organism will be replaced. These notochord will be replaced with the cartilaginous or bony vertebral column when the organism enters to adult. The subphyla vertebrata is assigned classified into following types, that is PISCES, amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. Here I have given minimum two examples for each of the class. Coming to the classification of classification of class PISCES. They are found in freshwater or marine water. These PISCES are nothing but the fishes. These are present in the freshwater or in the marine water. Body is divided into head, trunk and tail. Here the body of the fish will be divided into head, trunk and the tail. Respiration through either it may be gills and covered by an operculum on each side. On either side of the organisms, the gills are covered by a structure called operculum. Spindle shaped streamlined body will be there for the fishes. Body is externally covered by scales. Having two chambered heart, one auricle and one ventricle will be there. So two chambered heart these PISCES are having. They are cold-blooded animals. Cold-blooded animals nothing but poikilotherms. Here what happens? Body temperature varies to the surrounding environment. If the outer environment is, that is the water body, is cold, the body of the animals will going to be change their body temperature to the surrounding environment. That's why it is called as a poikilotherms. Next, sexes are separate here. The fertilization is usually external, mostly oviparous. Here, oviparous and viviparous, there are two types you are going to get in the organisms. Oviparous means those are the organisms which lay egg. Viviparous or viviparous we call it as that one which give birth to the young ones. Here the fishes comes under the oviparous which lays the egg. Example for that is marine and freshwater fishes. Here another one subtypes you are going to get here in the PISCES are chondrichthes and the ostrichthes. So coming to the chondrichthes and ostrichthes, they have skeleton primarily composed of bone. Chondrichthes means a jawed fish having a cartilaginous skeleton. Here I have showed the picture about a cartilaginous fish and nothing but chondrichthes, and bony fish or osteirichthes. Here this one is a great white shark. It comes under the category called chondrichthes. And here I have showed the picture about ostrichthes, rohu. This comes under, they have the primary skeletal composed of bone. Coming to the next subclass, that is amphibians. As you may know that amphibians means nothing but they present in both moist as well as in the water or aquatic condition. As the name indicates, it is from the Greek word amphi means dual, bios means life, or dual life the amphibians are having. This is having a cold-blooded animals. Even the fish are also cold-blooded animals and the amphibians are also cold-blooded animals or nothing but poikilotherms. So body temperature changes according to their surroundings. Most have two pairs of limbs, that is hind limb and forelimbs. Here I have showed the picture, you can observe here these are the forelimb and here two are there, no? These two are the hind limbs. Body is divided into head, trunk, but tail may be present in some amphibians. Head, trunk and tail will be absent. In the some amphibians like a salamander, you are going to get the tail part also. Here it respiration is by gills, lungs and through skin. Some will respire through lungs, some will respire through gills and some will be respire through skin. Skin is moist without scale. Here the amphibian skins are very moist and without scales. PISCES are two-chambered heart they are having. These amphibians are having three-chambered heart, two auricle and one ventricle. Sexes are separate and fertilization is external. They are oviparous. Here of eggs. Example for these amphibians are buffo, nothing but toad, rana or frog, hyla, tree frog, ichthyophis, limbless amphibia. For HSTR they are going to ask about give an example for limbless amphibian means ichthyophis you have to write. Ichthyophis, it just like a snake, it will be like a snake. Next, after amphibians, coming to the next concept, that is reptiles. The class name refers to their creeping and crawling mode of locomotion. Here these reptiles having a mode of creeping and crawling. Snakes and lizards have special characters called ecdysis. Ecdysis nothing but molting, shedding of scales or of old skin. They are mostly terrestrial animals and their body is covered by dry and cornified skin or epidermal scales or scutes. Body is divided into head, trunk and tail. Three-chambered heart except crocodile. Crocodiles having a four-chambered heart and they are poikilotherms. Change their body temperature according to their surrounding environment. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. Example for this is chameleon, commonly called as tree lizard, hemidactyle, nothing but wall lizard, celotes, nothing but garden lizard. These are the example for the reptiles. Next, coming to the aves or the birds. Birds are glorified reptiles, derived from the reptiles because derived from the reptiles, that's why they are called as birds are glorified reptiles. Archaeopteryx is an example for a reptiles. fossil reptiles that showing both bird and reptile character, that is Archaeopteryx. Skin is externally covered by feathers. Most of them can fly. Most of the birds can fly because of the presence of pneumatic bone. Because pneumatic bone means the bone is hollow and filled with the air. That's why it can easily fly from one region to another region. Except flightless bird, they are going to ask ostrich. Ostrich is an example for a flightless bird. Sexes are separate here. Fertilization is internal, oviparous. Fertilization occur internals. Oviparous means egg-laying birds. Respiration through lungs. As like a humans, they respire through lungs. Forelimbs are modified into wings. Here, the wings will be there. No, this one is the forelimbs and these two are the hind limbs. These forelimbs modified to become a wings for flying. Four-chambered heart and warm-blooded birds. These organisms are warm-blooded. They cannot change their body temperature according to the surrounding. That's why we call it as a homeotherms. Here, four-chambered heart will be there. Examples, columba. Example, pigeon, commonly called pigeon. Pistacula. Example, parrot. Struthio, ostrich. Coming to the last class of vertebrates are Mammalia. Nothing but all the animals will come under this category, Mammalia. Mammalia are hairy quadrupeds. Quadri means four legs. Quadri means four. Podas means legs. It is from a Greek word. Mammals are hairy quadrupeds having a four legs. They are homeotherms. As I said, homeotherms means warm-blooded body temperature is constant, will not be going to be changed for the surrounding environment. They have two pairs of limbs adapted for walking, running and climbing. Forelimbs will also be there and the hind limbs is modified to adapted for walking, running and climbing. External ear pinna will be present for hearing. Different types of teeth present in their jaws like canine, molar, premolar, like this. Your different types of teeth will be present in the animals. That is nothing but the kingdom, this one class Mammalia. And skin of a mammals are unique, possessing hair. The whole skin of these mammals are possessed with the hair. Four-chambered heart, as you have observed in the aves also, four-chambered heart, and RBCs on maturity become enucleated. Before that, when the animals enters to maturity, before that RBC is nucleated. After entering into the maturity, it becomes a enucleated. Fertilization is internal and viviparous animals except echidna and platypus. Here viviparous means giving birth to young ones. Except echidna and platypus, as I said, echidna and platypus are the egg-laying mammal. Is an example for egg-laying mammal. They are going to ask it for HSTR. Give an example for egg-laying mammal, that is echidna and platypus. Example, Pteropus, commonly called as flying fox, nothing but bat. Balenoptera, blue whale, commonly called as Balenoptera, blue whale. Equus, Cabalus, scientific name for the horse. Homo sapiens, human being. So this is about the class Mammalia. So these PISCES, reptiles, amphibians, aves and mammals comes under the class Vertebrata. So coming to the last class, that is class Invertebrata. They are paraphyletic or nothing but group of animals that neither possess nor develops vertebral column. These are the group of organisms which neither possess nor develops vertebral column. Hence they are called as a paraphyletic. This group includes all the animals apart from the chordates, subphyla vertebrates. Here these are the some classification of these invertebrates. Porifera, Coelenterata or Cnidaria, Platyhelminthes or flatworms, Aschelminthes or Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca and Echinodermata. Along with the two examples I have given here for Porifera, Sycon and Spongilla, Coelenterata, sea anemone and hydra. Platyhelminthes or flatworms having a example liver fluke, nothing but Planaria, tapeworm. Aschelminthes or Nematoda, example Ascaris, roundworm, Vacheria, filarial worm. Annelida paratima, example that is earthworm. Hirudinaria, blood sucking leech. Arthropoda, butterfly, spider, living fossil, nothing but king crab, everything will comes under the arthropoda class. Subclass arthropoda. Mollusca, octopus, commonly called devilfish. Dentalium, tusk shell, it is also comes under a mollusca. So all the oyster will also be comes under this mollusca. Echinodermates, nothing but starfish, sea lily, commonly called Antedon echinus, nothing but sea urchin. So coming to each detailed information about the each subclasses. First one, Porifera, example Sycon and Spongilla. Here you can observe the Spongilla and this one is the Sycon. We will go through the detailed information. Member of this phyla are commonly called as sponges. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical. As you have discussed, we have discussed no in the first class only about the asymmetrical symmetry of the organizations. Everything we have discussed now. Here it will comes the all the symmetries, organizations, what kind of organization these having, we are going to study here. They are generally marine, mostly asymmetrical animals. Digestion is intercellular. Intercellular, nothing but inside the cell. Have cellular level of organization, nothing but loosely arranged cells will be there. Water enters through a minute pore called ostia in the body wall into a central cavity called spongocoel. So the cavity will be present inside the body of the organism called porifera, that is spongocoels. The body is supported by a skeleton made up of a spicules or spongin fibers. Here there will be absent of any that is backbone. That's why the skeleton is made up of spicules or spongin fibers. Sexes are separate, hermaphrodite we call it as. Eggs and sperms are produced by the same individual. Nothing but both the sexes, that is male and the female sperms and the eggs, male and female gametes will be present in the same individual. We call it as hermaphrodites. So coming to the next category, that is Coelenterata. Here, Coelenterata commonly called as Cnidaria. Example for this, sea anemone and hydra. This is the sea anemone and this is the hydra. They are aquatic, mostly marine. Sedentary means attached to one particular part, or sessile, or some will be free living like hydra. Radially symmetrical animals. Radially symmetrical. When we cut in any vertical section, you are going to get two equal halves. Cnidarians exhibit tissue levels of organization and are diploblastic. Tissue levels of organization means here the cells will group together and forms a particular tissue and performs a particular function. Diploblastic means having a outer ectoderm and the middle inner endoderm. Some of Cnidarians examples are corals have a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Example for this is sea anemone and the hydra. Here, Platyhelminthes commonly called as flatworms. Example for this, tapeworm, Planaria. They are dorsi-ventrally flat-ended body, hence are called as flatworms, because in dorsal side and ventral side also it is very flat in nature. That's why it is called as a flatworms. Flatworms are bilaterally symmetrical. Bilaterally symmetrical, nothing but when you cut the organism into two equal halves, two identical equal halves you are going to get in one direction. Triploblastic means ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderms, three germ layers will be there. Acoelomates means absence of body cavity. Animals with organ levels of organization. Nothing but a group of tissues grouped together and forms a particular organ here. Hooks, spinules and suckers are present in the parasitic organism. Specialized cells called flame cells helps in the osmoregulation and excretion. Osmoregulation means entering of water. Excretion through flame cells. Sexes are not separate. Fertilization is internal and development is through many larval stage. Some members like Planaria possess high regeneration capacity. In which Platyhelminthes you are going to get high regeneration capacity means example is Planaria, nothing but liver fluke. Their power of regeneration is the capacity of regrowing the lost body parts. This is about the subclass Platyhelminthes. Coming to the next concept is Aschelminthes. Another name for that is Nematoda. Example Ascaris and Vaucheria. The body of the Aschelminthes is circular in cross section, hence the name roundworm. Circular in cross section. If you cut the part in a cross section, you are going to get a circular shape. That's why these Aschelminthes or nematodes are commonly called as roundworms. The body of here they may be free living, aquatic and terrestrial, or parasitic in plants and animals. These are present in the parasitic form. Some will be terrestrial, some will be aquatic, some are free living. Roundworms have a organ system level of organization. Organ system level means group of organs combines together and forms a organ system. Bilaterally symmetrical, you have already learned. Triploblastic, 3 layers, germ layers. Pseudocoelomates means false cavity, body cavity will be present. Sexes are separated, that's why it called it as a dioecious. Example, males and females are distinct. Fertilization is internal and development may be direct. Young ones resembles the adult, or indirect method will be also be there. Here the female body of the organism is longer than when compared to male. This one is Ascaris and this one is the Vaucheria. Next, coming to Annelida. Annelida, they are aquatic, marine or a freshwater, or terrestrial or free living. Sometimes it is parasitic. For example, leech will be there. No? This suck the blood. That's why we call it as a saprophytic. They exhibit organ system level of body organization and bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic, metamerically segmented. That is nothing but linear repetitions of a similar body parts along with the main axis you are going to get. In the earthworm, you can clearly observe the segments you are going to get here. That's why metamerically segmented. Nephridia, or in the nephridium, helps in osmoregulation and excretion. In the platyhelminthes, flame cells are osmoregulation and excretion, helps in osmoregulation and excretion. In Annelida, what happens? Nephridia, that helps in regulation of osmoregulation and excretion. A closed circulatory system is present, that is heart pumps the blood. Neural system consists of paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord. Nereis, an aquatic form, is dioecious or unisexual. Dioecious means sexes are separate. Unisexual means either it may be male or it may be female. But earthworms and leeches are monoecious or bisexual. Reproduction is sexual. Here is the picture. You can observe the earthworm and leech. Next concept is Arthropoda. Example, butterfly, spider. Here, this is the largest phylum of Animalia, which includes insects, spiders, butterflies, everything you are going to get here. This is the largest phylum. They have a organ system level of organization. They have bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, segmented and coelomate animals. The body of arthropod is covered by chitinous exoskeleton, which is periodically shed off for the purpose of growth, and the process we call it as ecdysis or molting. The body consists of head, thorax and abdomen. They have jointed appendages, nothing but arthros means joint, poda means appendages. Jointed appendages, arthropoda. The appendages are modified for the purpose of walking, swimming and food handling and breathing. Respiration organs are gills, book lungs or tracheal system. They are mostly oviparous, nothing but lays egg. Here this is the example for arthropoda, spider, and this one is the butterfly. Coming to the next class, that is Mollusca. Snail and octopus are the example for this, and even the oysters, pearl oysters will be example for this Mollusca. This is the second largest animal phyla. These are terrestrial or aquatic, marine or freshwater, having an organ system level of organization. Soft and spongy layers of skins forms a mantle over the dorsal visceral hump. The space between the hump and the mantle cavity in which feathers like gills are present. They have respiratory and excretory functions. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. The mouth contains a file-like rasping organ for feeding called radula. For feeding, they are going to use it as a radula. They are usually dioecious and oviparous with indirect development. This is the snail and this one is the octopus. Coming to the last concept in this chapter, living world, is echinodermata. The example is Antedon and starfish. All are marine with organ system level of organization. These animals have an endoskeletons of calcareous ossicles and hence the name echinodermates, nothing but spiny bodied. The adult echinoderms are radially symmetrical, but larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. Adults are radially symmetrical and larvae will be bilaterally symmetrical. Triploblastic, having 3 germ layers. Coelomate animals. Digestive system is complete with the mouth on the lower or ventral side of, and the anus on the upper or dorsal side will be there. Sexes are separate, reproduction is sexual, fertilization is usually external, and the development is indistinct with the free swimming larva. Here one special character about this starfish is this is the mouth part of the starfish. Here what happens while feeding, it attacks the organisms. No, when it attacks the organisms, the stomach part that present inside the mouth, it will pops out from the mouth and feed the organisms, and then it will go back to its position. This is about the special characteristics and having a high capacity of regeneration. Here if accidentally the part of this arms will going to be cut, no, again it will reforms the structure. So this is about the complete chapter about the chapter living world. This completes whole chapter living world. I hope you guys understood the concept very well. If you are having any doubts, you can comment it in a comment box. Please do subscribe, like, comment and share. Thank you for watching.